In a culture obsessed with accumulation, achievement, and consumer comfort, it's easy to get swept into the endless drive for more. But what if that pursuit is actually keeping us from the life God wants for us? This 5-week series at Sycamore Creek Church explores how Jesus invites us to be free from the love of money and free for a life of purpose, generosity, and joy. You'll uncover spiritual practices and countercultural truths that help you step off the treadmill and into a posture of gratitude and stewardship. Whether you're living paycheck to paycheck or sitting on a surplus, God's desire is the same: freedom.
Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off. The clacker. Today we're filming a sermon in ASMR style. Hello, Mark.
Is that how we're going to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're talking about a narrative arc today. You've been to a movie, you've read novels.
Yeah.
There's like the way that these things tend to go. I don't have it memorized, so I got to look at my notes. There's like a setup, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is like every movie, book, like...
Yeah, exactly. So like
particularly
this
like action
setup,
movies.
Yeah, like setup. Here's the good guys. Here's the bad guys. Here's the treasure. Right?
Okay.
And then you got the rising action. The bad guys create a plan, and they steal the treasure. And then you got the climax. The bad guys are caught by the good guys. The falling action, the bad guys are put behind bars. And the resolution, the treasure at the Louvre is restored.
There we go.
You know that, right?
We've seen this many times. Yeah.
So people may not know, but there's sermon designs that we sometimes follow. I mean, sometimes we just make up our own, but sometimes there's these sermon designs. And there's this one called the homiletical plot or the narrative plot.
Yes.
You know this one, right?
I do.
Can you do it from memory?
I'm going to try not to look at my notes as I do this.
Okay, good job.
I know the first part is oops.
Yeah.
So like there's some problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
nice job.
I'm going to try to do this with some expression today. It's worse than we thought. Like this is a big problem.
Yeah.
But then, like there's some solution to this, and in a sermon we point to God, and God provides a solution. And then, yay.
That you got to give that another try.
Yay! There we go. Okay.
Right.
Yay. I'm trying to remember it, and I'm trying to be expressive at the same time.
It is
not
hard to
working.
do something from memory with
and
excitement.
Then, so like the solution, we can work it out. Like it's great. And then this is a little expression.
Good job
there.
getting your voice to go high there.
Yeah. That's the last part of it. And the we is like, look at where this can take us.
Yeah. Nice job doing that from memory.
Thank you.
I drilled it into you. That whole thing's by a guy named Eugene Lowry. He wrote a book called The Homiletical Plot. And today's sermon, we're going to use that. The message, it's called Flip the Receipt. But what we're going to actually do is we're going to flip the sermon design.
Okay.
So, can you do it backwards?
Yeah. Well, let's see. So I just said, so we.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we had yay.
Nice job.
Aha. And then is it and the first part was oops.
Yeah. I
There
think
we go.
though, if
I
it
think
was
I got it.
a Michigan or Midwest plot design, it'd be
it would definitely be
Yeah. So today we're gonna go we, yay, aha, and oops.
Okay.
We're gonna go backwards. The good news is gonna come first, and the bad news is gonna come at the end of the message today.
That ought to be interesting.
So we're gonna turn to the last page of the book right now. Do you go to the last page and read the last page?
I'd never read anything other than just straight through a book.
Okay. Yeah. So today we're gonna go to the last page and see how it turns out.
Okay.
How it ends. We're gonna start with
wee.
There you go.
There we go.
All right.
Look at the expression.
So look how far that this is going to take us, and imagine not just one person or one family, but like a couple hundred families all together giving away as much as they spend on Christmas.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Like matching their spending with their giving, like being wildly generous, quietly impactful. Like, imagine those stories.
Okay.
So like
I'm imagining freedom from the love of money right now. That sounds like
a single mom who keeps her apartment. Like, that's one story.
Yeah, I think like it's teachers who don't have to buy school supplies for themselves.
Free gas for somebody who didn't know like how they were going to get to work tomorrow.
Yeah, it's relief for flood victims.
Humanitarian aid for refugees.
It's a child in Nicaragua who gets like enough food to eat.
Yeah. So we use this money over the next year that people give, and they take this Christmas offering challenge, and people will reach out to us individually and ask for help. I got this email from somebody, I think it's maybe email, message, text, I don't remember, some way. But they said, "Hi, this is so-and-so, and I'm wondering if your congregation can help me with my electricity bill." Now, this is somebody that I had known through different, like, just I'm out in the community and so on.
Okay.
And they wrote, "I was off from work for a month in November and got behind on bills. And then in March, I took off work unpaid and unexcused because I didn't have any PTO left. And that led to a 10-day unpaid suspension. I reached a severance agreement with their current employee. So I'm on paid leave until July, certain date, but I don't get paid until next Friday. And my most recent check was under $200. I have no money on my debit card or in savings right now." So they were asking for help with their utility bill, and it was about $300, except that when their electricity got shut off, then all the food in the refrigerator,
didn't freezer,
make it, like spoiled. So because of people's generosity last Christmas, I was able to pay that bill, $300. Like, that can be insurmountable to some people. And then also able to buy a bunch of groceries to fill their refrigerator back up. Like that. That's like, wee. Yeah. Super fun.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I think like in Potterville, the giving to the Christmas offering allows us to do this back to school bash every year where we give away like 150 plus backpacks filled with school supplies. And that's allowed us to establish a relationship with the school where like I met with the principal this past fall and I was like, "How can we support the school?" And she was like, "Well, one of the things we could need is like extra pencils." She's like, "The kids just burn through pencils." And so I was like, "We got that."
Breaking them.
And it's formed this relationship now where if the school needs stuff, they just reach out to us. Mm-hmm. And because of the Christmas offering, I can be like, "Yes, like let's help." Mm-hmm. Like this is
Yeah. I mean, we're like the easy button for help because we don't have like all this paperwork and red tape and bureaucracy. So here's what the we looks like in numbers. All right,
okay,
this is impressive. Okay, so if you think like imagine we're like add up all the numbers over the 25 years that Sycamore Creek has been around. We're 25 years old this year.
Yeah.
And actually, we just celebrated.
Technically, last summer.
Yeah, we celebrated it in July, but it was the first Sunday in November that we turned 25. So add up all of that. Here's the number. Are you ready? This is like a wee moment. $353,324 given away over Sycamore Creek's 25 years. That's an average of $14,000 a year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wee! Yeah, like. So let me break it down, like, because it didn't progress like it made big jumps. Yeah. So in our first year, 2001, there was $603 that we received at our Christmas offering, and we gave away the next year. 2011, we did this whole Advent conspiracy thing. I was the pastor by that point. There was a big jump. Like, it was like, hey, let's be in a conspiracy this Christmas. Let's breathe together and do something different. And the total that year was $5,891. And then in 2013, introduced a different way of thinking about this, that Christmas is not your birthday.
Oh, yeah. It's Jesus' birthday.
Jesus' birthday. Good point. So is there like a present under the Christmas tree for Jesus? And that year, we received $11,254.
Wow.
Like
these jumps are so cool.
So these are big jumps. I mean, it almost doubled like with those different ways of thinking about this, and people slowly over time getting used to this challenge. But then in 2016, that's a special year.
It was a special year. We added Potterville.
So now we got two campuses, and it jumped up to over $20,000. Like that.
Wow.
Now, like, we're starting to see a big dent.
Yeah.
And then in 2020, 4, we had another fun,
adoption.
Yeah, adoption of Asbury United Methodist Church, and the
Eastwood
total
campus
last year was over $42,000. Like,
Whee!
40.
Like
yes.
This is
wow.
It's incredible generosity and incredible stuff you can do with all that.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think about this and I think, what would it mean for our neighborhoods, for our towns, for our schools, for like all the places that Sycamore Creek impacts, for us to not be known just for our sermons or our songs, but for our generosity.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be.
That's we.
Yes, exactly. So like Sycamore Creek is known as a people who flip the script at Christmas and they give away as much as they spend on themselves.
That's really different.
I guess not flip the script. That's
Flip
the
the
sermon
receipt,
design. Flip the receipt.
Yeah. I'm still not totally sure if I understand flip the receipt, but I think we'll get there.
We're going to get there. Yeah. I got an aha moment for you.
Okay. I think that kind of giving, like what we're talking about, where at Christmas time, people are giving as much as they spend. Like that's the really real, like the stories we're sharing of, helping the person whose electricity got shut off, helping the schools. Like this is humanity at its best. Like this is the way we were meant to live. It's the kingdom of heaven, the reign of God, like the really real.
Yeah. Not like there's so much that's fake about Christmas, but that kind of thing is like has impacts that heaven sees. Angels cheer at it. It's like we feel it in like deep in us. The world feels it deep, the longing for something like that. So this Christmas, we don't just want your donation, we want your transformation.
Ooh, can you repeat that, Tom? That's pretty important.
Yeah. We don't just want your donation, we want your transformation. So there's a challenge that we're putting that like totally transform the way you celebrate Christmas. And there's always like an onboarding ramp for people. Like it takes some years to get used to this.
Yeah, you take a step toward it.
It's a conspiracy. Like we're going to be in a conspiracy together this Christmas because Christmas is not your birthday. Mark, it's not your birthday.
It's not my birthday.
Yeah.
It's not my kid's birthday either.
So here's the joyful challenge, okay? Track your Christmas spending, flip your receipts, match what you spend with what you give this Christmas. That's the challenge.
It's like the front side of your receipt is how much you spend, flip it, give that much away.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it. Huh. So we'd be making Christmas less about just getting stuff, which is sort of the dominant culture all around us, and maybe more about getting free from stuff.
Yeah.
Free from the love of money.
Absolutely. All right. So last year, over $42,000. Actually, I think it was a little over $43,000. And our goal that we've set this year is $45,000. So like
that's amazing.
$45,000.
Like such a big goal.
Yeah. So just to throw a little friendly competition in there.
Okay.
All right. So
you and I both love competition.
We do.
So
we do. Eastwood. This is like just our second year of doing this. Last year, Eastwood received, and then we ended up giving away over $10,000. Over 10K.
10,000. That's way to go, Eastwood. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Okay. Then Potterville. Okay. Potterville rocking it. 17,000.
Yes.
Yeah. Show me the
Potterville.
17 bandos right there.
Yes.
And then South Lansing, which usually comes in first, fell to second last year. So South Lansing 16K, but I'm gonna
still strong.
Eastwood's gonna be the dark horse.
You think they're gonna get the most this year?
Yeah. All right. We'll see. This is like the we moment. So we're gonna turn to our neighbor or the chat and answer this question. What's one word to describe how our community would change if we all lived this out? Let's talk about it. All right, Mark. So we did the we part. Do you remember what comes next? We're going backwards.
Well, I gotta remember the
you gotta
order,
go forward,
and then I gotta flip it and go backwards.
Okay.
So I think this is yay.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
We're up to yay.
So like, what does this solution do?
Yeah.
And when we live this way, there's like some beautiful things that start to happen.
Okay,
one is that we feel lighter. So instead of guilt,
Oh.
we experience grace. Our money is moving toward healing instead of hoarding, which you did the message on hoarding.
That's a good thing. Lighter.
Yeah. Our kids learn real values. They see us practicing generosity, not just talking about it. So now we're talking about legacy. which sometimes, like for families or even like grandparents, there's like, you got to reset the expectations with your kids about what Christmas is. But they get it. Like my kids, I think, get it. So people actually get help. Utility bills get paid. Evictions are prevented. Groceries bought. Children are fed.
This is the really real.
Yeah. I mean, this is the yay stuff.
It is.
Our giving becomes worship. It's like not showy. It's sacred. And Jesus says, hey, listen, your Father in heaven, your mother in heaven, like this heavenly parent sees it. Yeah.
This is amazing. Like, it's not just that, where the money goes. It really impacts us too.
Yes.
As we are generous through this challenge. Like
it's a giving and receiving.
Yeah.
In giving.
In giving it, like, it recalibrates our heart. Like we stop being anxious consumers and we become peaceful givers.
Yeah.
And I need that this Christmas.
Absolutely. All right. So that was the yay.
That was the yay.
This one's easy because it's in the middle. So it's always in the middle.
It is. It's always in the middle, and it's always aha.
Aha. Yes. This is like the Sherlock Holmes moment. Yep. So like there's a solution in the homiletical plot. Like you try to make it as counterintuitive as possible. It's like the person that you least thought was the murderer is the murderer. So Jesus is offering like a radical way out of this cycle. And we've been in the Sermon on the Mount. So Mark, would you read what Jesus says about, like, one thing he says about money in the Sermon on the Mount?
Okay, so in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus says, when you give to someone in need, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Give your gifts in private, and your Father who sees everything will reward you. Yeah,
so then let's jump forward a little bit.
Okay.
Same Sermon on the Mount, same chapter,
Mount, so
but just a little bit later.
Jesus says, no one can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money.
So here's the big aha. All right. So for money not to master you or to be your master, you have to intentionally give it away.
Ooh.
Intentionally give it away. I'm not sure how counterintuitive that is. I mean, as I think about it, it seems fairly obvious. Like if you don't want something,
it makes sense. Like tighter you hold to something, the more hold it has over you, but you got to release it.
Yeah. So you got to invest in the people who need help. You got to detach your sense of meaning from your spending. And the solution here isn't guilt. Maybe that's the counterintuitive part of this. Like, it's not guilt. We're not trying to guilt anybody. It's about using your money with purpose.
Yeah. It's flipping the receipt.
Yeah, exactly.
It's giving away as much as you spend.
So what if everybody like took their receipts and they kept track of them and they asked the question, who else could I bless with this same amount of money? Now that's like the flip the receipt. Flip the receipt. So every time you spend $30 on a Lego set, you give $30.
Flip the receipt, give $30 away
to somebody who needs food or rent assistance. Or like you buy $100 on a tech gadget, you match that $100 to a feeding program in Nicaragua. Like, so you give joy twice. You give joy to the person who you're giving the gift, your kid, your grandkid, your spouse, your friend, your family, your coworker. But then you also give joy to somebody who really needs something that next year.
I think about this, and like, this is pretty daunting to think of approaching on your own.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just you by yourself trying to navigate this with your family, with the culture around, like, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like it makes a big dent by yourself, but you put all of us
so
together.
Much you can do.
And like, we do it together. That's the thing. We do it together. So this isn't about depriving yourself at Christmas. It's about investing in a joy that actually lasts. So we got a chat question. Give people a chance to catch their breath.
Mm-hmm. And the question for the discussion is this: when has generosity made you feel surprisingly alive?
Surprisingly alive.
I love that question.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment. Let's talk about that.
So we did
Yeah. We did yay.
Yep.
We did aha. And that means we're up to
Oh, you had the facial expression before you had the word. All right. Yeah. So what is
the the problem was worse than we thought.
Yeah.
Worse than we thought.
Remember, like, we started with the fun stuff, and now
yes.
we're like ending with the bad news.
We're
working our way to, like, the treasure has been stolen.
Yes.
So it's not just that we overspend at Christmas. It's that we consistently overinvest in things that don't last, like in the fake, not the really real. And we underinvest in people who are barely getting by. So
our priorities are all out of whack.
Back to the Sermon on the Mount, and read us. We started a little bit, and then we jumped ahead. Now we're going to go back into the middle.
Go back into the middle.
Yeah, read this for us.
So Jesus says, don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be also.
So here's the part that we don't like to admit. We're not just talking about some abstract afterlife.
Yeah, for like treasure in heaven.
Yeah, pie in the sky when you die. We're talking about, like, every dollar that we spend right now is a vote for the kind of world we want to live in.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like, are we bringing heaven to earth here right now? Are we storing up treasure for heaven right now?
Every purchase is a practice. Our spending is forming us. It's forming our hearts. It's forming what we love. Like, you put your money there, and your heart follows.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not just us too. It's like the people who are watching us and who are involved. Like, this is our kids. This is our grandkids. Like, again, it's the legacy that we're leaving is how we approach our spending.
So our receipts are like a discipleship curriculum.
Whoa.
So discipleship being like an apprenticeship. And like, who are you apprenticing under? Who are you being discipled by? What story are our receipts telling?
Ooh, when I think about that, like, you know, are the receipts of our Christmas, are they about giving or are they about getting?
Are they telling the story that joy comes from generosity or from indulgence?
Ooh, are they telling the story that, you know, the good news of Christmas is really, it's just cozy cheer for the privileged, or is it good news for the poor?
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't want to fool ourselves.
No, we don't want to fool ourselves. You see, the problem isn't just commercialism that's out there. It's a consumerism that's in here. Yeah. It's within each of us. Again, it's not commercialism that's just out there. It is consumerism that is within each of us.
It's so easy to point out there, but we got to like look inside. All right, Mark, we have come to the last page of the story, which is actually the first page of the book.
Yeah.
And what's the first?
Oops.
Oops.
We made it.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So in the oops, it's like there's a problem. The problem is we all want to be generous. I think we do. I think we all would like to be considered a generous person.
It's good to help people.
And we all want to help people, and we all want to be like Jesus.
Yeah.
But
then, you know, the Christmas season rolls around, and this is a tough time of year. And something shifts, and we just get sucked along with it.
Yeah, it's like generosity becomes a stack of wrapped gifts under the Christmas tree, or like the wrapping paper that we got have to run out on the last like the night before and go by.
Stockings hung by the fireplace with care, like stuffed with stuff, trinkets and whatnot, gadgets.
Now, like I think at our best in these moments, like we're not trying to be shallow.
No.
We are trying to be loving.
We are.
And we get caught up in this whole culture. It's like when you're swimming in the ocean and all of a sudden you get caught in a rip tide. Like nobody is trying to get sucked out. You're just
trying to have fun swimming.
But without even noticing it, we start to equate spending with caring. We do that. And so then there's the kicker. We don't notice that while our hearts may be in the right place, our receipts tell a different story. They show what we really value, what we really prioritize, also what we fear, what we love.
I think as a parent, it's a big fear to like disappoint my kids.
Yeah.
Like I want to provide them with the best Christmas I can.
Oh, and then we get in the comparison trap. Like how do we measure up to other families? And does like love look like just more stuff? And I think it's important for a moment here just to say Jesus doesn't condemn gift giving.
No, Jesus says, a good parent likes to give good gifts to their kids.
Yeah, but I think he's holding up be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful not to perform your righteousness, your holiness in this public way. There should be some other kind of private way that you're engaging in love and justice in this world.
Yeah, and be careful in the midst of your gift giving to not let your heart go in a wrong direction at Christmas time. Be careful about this.
Yeah, be careful not to confuse consumption with compassion.
Yeah.
All right, so we got another
final chat question here, and our final chat question is this: how can you flip the Christmas narrative this year by flipping the receipt? What's a step that you can take maybe toward doing that? Maybe you can get all the way there, but what is it for you? How are you going to live this out, flipping the receipt? Let's take a moment and let's talk about that.
Mark, this is a really special moment.
How so?
We're sitting by
the fire here?
You and me.
Okay.
We just need a beer and glass of wine.
There we go.
Charcuterie board.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, how is this special?
This is a double special moment. This is the end of the series.
It is the end of Free from the Love of Money.
We've done 2 principles, 2 practices. Can I test your memory again? What were the 2 principles?
So the first principle that we talked about is it's not just money.
Not just money. It has a spiritual
power to it.
Yep.
Yeah. And
second principle
is we don't own anything.
Yeah. God owns everything. And then 2 practices.
The 2 practices. So the first practice that we talked about is take only what you need.
Good stuff. Really simple.
That was the anti-hoarding message.
That's so hard.
Super hard.
Yeah.
We just tend toward accumulating stuff.
Yep. And then
the final
practice
was to look for ways to be generous.
Yeah.
And we may be given a really specific example of that today.
This is today's message is one way to do that. And it's not the only way, and it's not even necessarily the best way or the right, completely right way, but it is one way that we try to do it together. So that's one moment.
Yeah,
one reason why this is a special moment. But it's an extra special moment, Mark.
Really?
Why is this an extra special moment?
It's also an extra special moment because we have wrapped up the Sermon on the Mount after 18 months, after 14 series. We are done.
Yeah.
We're probably never going to talk about it again, right?
No. We're just kidding. We have mastered the Sermon on the Mount.
Yes.
We have sermoned the Mount. And now, through the amazing talents of our videographer, Randy, we're going to take a trip down memory lane around a fireplace. So watch, enjoy, listen. We are beginning an experiment. It's an 18-month experiment. We're going to spend the next 18 months looking at themes in the Sermon on the Mount.
It's a series of series.
A series of series inspired by those themes. A deep, deep dive.
And today we're heading toward a new self on a new path.
So Jesus starts out saying, congrats to the poor in spirit.
This series is inspired by that teaching in the Sermon on the Mount.
And today we're going to talk about 3 problems with prayer.
We'll discuss in this series not so much evangelism as individuals, but how we live out evangelism as a community of followers of Jesus.
This series is about letting our words and our intentions line up with our actions. Letting our yes, I will be true about the habits we're developing and the direction we're growing.
Marriage in the United States is messy. And in this series, Choosing Us, we'll discuss the answer to why marriage. We're working our way through the Sermon on the Mount in a series of series that we were in at Sycamore Creek based on Jesus' teaching in the Gospel of Matthew.
We're on series 7 of 14. Halfway there.
Following Jesus is difficult. It's a narrow way and it costs us something. And that's why we're calling this series Costly Grace. We're continuing the series we started last week called Sacred Self-Care.
And so while we're up here on, I don't know what to call this. Is this Mount Frandor?
As you do the work that God has for you, is that you are not alone.
So we've been looking at the Sermon on the Mount for a long time. Don't worry, we just have a couple more months to go.
I like a lot of the Sermon on the Mount, but the Beatitudes always feel like a gut punch to me.
Yeah.
Now, we're also in the home stretch of a series on the Sermon on the Mount.
So we're taking these words and we're applying them to loving disagreement.
Free money. It marks the end of our deep dive into the Sermon on the Mount. All of our series have been inspired by the topics we find in the Sermon on the Mount.
If you take away only one thing, here's the one thing I want you to take away.
We